fire, air, earth, water. If you could control any element, which element would you want the power to control? For me personally, this answer has always been super easy, incredibly easy, pretty easy. It's always been water. But there's a part of me that sometimes feels like controlling air would be pretty fun too, because I like the idea of being able to summon a strong wind, just because if I need to clear something or refresh from something stickiness, I love the feel of a breeze on me. That's why I sleep with a fan on. Even in the winter time, sometimes I may just crave the sensation of air moving, so I will turn it on even though I very much don't need it. I just do so for about 10 minutes or so. Earth, I think, would be cool to be able to control if I were someone who's artistic and am into landscaping and stuff. But there's a part of me that feels like I don't want to control the earth because I don't want to be an asshole to anything that lives under the earth. So would controlling the earth give me the power to feel what's around the earth? Because if so, then that would be cool. I feel like it would help me use my power more responsibly. I also feel like unless I'm in a desolate area, it would be pretty boring to control the earth because I would destroy things. Say, if I summon some kind of quake, I know I'm gonna damage buildings and things. So I feel like it's a very impractical power, unless I'm finding myself somewhere in the desert or something crazy like that. Fire, I have also liked the idea of it, but same as earth, I find that impractical because unless we're living in times when electricity is just not a thing, the only thing that fire is really helpful for me with would be something like a source of heat, a source of warmth, a source of illumination. And of course, one could say cooking, but I think that the practicality of it is what worries me. I guess if I know how to control fire, maybe that makes me an expert of how to properly distribute its temperature or something. Or would this fire inherently have the same temperature across the board? Say, aviation fuel causes a type of fire that's like more intense than a regular kitchen fire, for example. I would imagine that I would be controlling fire in general, and I guess I could increase or decrease its intensity. But as I am right now, I really don't have a vast understanding of fire. Now with water, I feel like water would be the element I could most responsibly control. And of course, I could think about marine life too, but what makes me say water is I feel like it's the most useful. One of the things that I have always wondered about is why does the ocean have to be such a huge body of water, but it has to have very impractical, very useless water in it? Well, at least useless for me from the perspective of consumption. Like, I always think of myself being stranded in the middle of the ocean, and then I'm like, okay, no problem, I can survive this, but it's salt fucking water. I don't like salt like that. Sand, that coarse feeling. So I would like the power to be able to filter water. And I think that if I have the power to control water, then I can control what goes in the water too. So every single grain of anything undesirable, I could filter it out, the way that I'm imagining controlling this power. I also like the idea of if I make a mess outside or something, I can just like hose it down with high pressure, and I don't have to worry about finding a hose or a faucet, anything like that. And most importantly, I just love to be in water. I just like for it to be clean, and I like how it makes me feel refreshed, and usually I'm craving that. Running water, the sensation of water, and the way my skin feels when I'm well hydrated and things like that. Also, water is just fun. We went as far as creating freaking holes on the ground so that we can fill it up with water and use it as entertainment. And I also like that with power, with its pressure alone, you can create things, make certain things flow a certain way. I just like water. It seems to be the most practical. And sometimes I spill my water, or I drop my water bottle and it just bursts. I like the idea of being able to like vacuum that water that I'm losing out and not have to worry about how to clean it up. At least it's just water. But say if I were to have a spill on my bed, which I have had before, I have to like find a way to squeeze that mess out and then vacuum it and stuff like that. So if I have the power to control water, I can just summon it to step out and not have to work so hard at it. To me, water is always going to be my ideal element to be able to control. And I also like the thought of pretty much giving my car an immediate rinse as soon as I come back from somewhere where it gets dusty or something, especially the undercarriage. I never get underneath that stuff, especially when it's the winter time and it gets all salty and shit. Water turning into ice, I'm not sure if I would have the power to inherently control ice like that. So that's something that I'm going to leave for you guys in the comments to debate. Do you think that with the ability to control water, I inherently would have the ability to control ice as well? Since ice, by default, we think of it as it's just frozen water. I want to say that as long as within the ice there's still running water, like liquid water, I think that should grant me the right of being able to control it. Say water present in the sky would be clouds, but that also begs the question, would I have the power to just create clouds? I'm not sure, but this is a scenario that's never gonna happen. But if it were to happen, if we had the choice, what would be the caveats? I want to know that stuff.